Hey, why you got no reaction on?
You throw inside the hole. Yeah.
So that's our guest star for today. Don't get distracted. We have something. Well, today we're going to continue a bit more talking about happily successful people, right? Because Stefan and I, the last time we talked about this, we talked about how we, in order to be more happily successful, we need to increase positive emotions, decrease negative emotions, and we talked about how our life satisfaction contributes to us being happily successful. So today we're going to go a bit deeper into the life satisfaction part of it. So make sure you watch the episode if you haven't. Stefan brought us through the life satisfaction scale to see where you kind of are standing. But I think everyone, even if you're doing quite well on the scale, you can always get better, right?
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about some of the things that contribute to improving one's life satisfaction. The last time we talked, I remember you said level of attractiveness is like 0 to no impact.
Small impact. Yeah.
0 to small impact. So if you think like improving yourself, I don't know, like going to zheng your face or to lose a lot of weight will make you feel more satisfied with life, apparently not, right? Then we talked a bit about income, but let's go a bit more into that, because in Singapore, it's always about like, success is always measured by like, how successful are you is like, are you driving like a nice car? Are you staying like in a nice house? How big? Is it landed? Is it like, so I think we've always kind of been geared towards that. So how does income fare in terms of helping with our life satisfaction?
According to research, right, happiness and income, there's a connection, but it's only to a certain level how income can attribute to happiness. So there's a magic number. The magic number is at $67,000 a year. If you're earning $67,000 per year per annum, you can get happy. And this is an indication between happiness and income.
Okay, so basically what you're saying, this is in USD or Singapore dollars?
USD.
Okay, so basically you're saying if you're earning 60 to 70 USD per year, you would be at a certain level of happiness, which is, I'm inferring like if you are earning below that number, you would be probably quite unhappy?
Well, I will also say, because it's a US data,
Yeah.
right? But of course, we will argue that it's not relevant to Singapore. But I will say in terms of, we are quite similar, living in the first world country.
Yeah.
So we convert it in Singapore dollars. So it's around $67,000 to $70,000. It would be where our happiness level is at. But research has also found out, if we earn more than $67, does it impact our happiness? And it says it will increase a little bit.
But not much.
Not much at all. So there will be a significant happiness level correlation from a low income all the way to $67,000 per year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I guess that makes sense, because if you're like earning below a certain minimum amount that is comfortable in Singapore, right, then it would be, you have to think a lot about money, and that can't be very happy because you'll be worrying about money, right? But I think at 60, 70K per year, you are not worrying about money. You're not like super rich, but you're not worrying about money. And what you're saying is from there to get to like the super rich level, the increment to your life satisfaction is...
It's very little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And interestingly, that they also found that anybody, when you reach the income level of $105,000 per year, anything more than $105,000 per year, the happiness level or life satisfaction level starts to decrease.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So don't be too rich. Okay, actually that's quite interesting. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of reasons for that. Like, maybe if at that level you don't, I'm just assuming, right? Maybe you don't appreciate things as much because you have everything. Maybe you are working very hard so you don't have time to enjoy it. I don't know what it is. But I think what we can take away, these are my assumptions, what we can really take away from this is that you need a certain amount to be happy, which is you need a certain amount where you're not worrying about where your next meal is coming from.
Yep.
But then past that level, it's kind of like just a little bit, your happiness level is incremental, and if you're like super rich, technically you won't be that happy.
Yep.
So I think that this is like quite interesting for a country that, it's always about like, I want to get richer. I mean, Singapore has like, I think the most number of millionaires or billionaires per square area or something like that. I think I read that. So we actually have a lot of really, really super rich people here. But maybe they're not as happy as you think. So there's this term that I heard called affluenza, right? So do you think we suffer from that? And maybe you can tell us a bit more about what that is, and if you think that that's what we suffer from in Singapore.
Well, I love this topic, just to say this. So we've been discussing about affluenza for a long period of time. So affluenza instead of the word influenza,
Yep.
so it starts with the word A, affluenza is a social and psychological syndrome whereby it only affects first world country citizens, where we live in a society of advanced capitalism. We chase after economical success and we chase after these accomplishments, and whereby they start to look at things on the external rather than things on the internal. So we can look at materialism, chasing after external success, or and maybe having more money in life, and etc. But this affluenza has a negative impact on how the way we form our relationships, and also impact in terms of our well-being. So some effects of affluenza would be maybe social isolation, less trust, because they realize that their relationships they form may not be as meaningful. It could be centered around money or economical success, or become more transactional. And they also face like anxiety. And the anxiety could be related to status anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah, whether am I good enough, or whether is this person as good as I am, or can I be better than another person? So this is one of the issues that comes with affluenza.
And do you think that in Singapore that's what a lot of us suffer from?
Yeah, we are suffering from affluenza. But the thing is, it happens in the first world countries, so not just Singapore, but many countries like America, or countries like Australia, Hong Kong, etc. So I guess that this is a common issue. But of course, in Singapore, it's more prevalent because when we start to see people talking about the 5 Cs, getting into a good school or making decisions to have a better outcome, these are all powered by affluenza.
So is it like safe to say that affluenza is kind of like a need to keep up with the Joneses, to compete, to be like at the top? Meaning like maybe I stay in a really nice, comfortable flat, but then I happen to go to my neighbor's house and it's this like sprawling landed mansion, and then suddenly I feel like, wow, I'm like there's a long way between me and my neighbor, and I'm very upset because at current income I can't really afford that, and I get very upset. That's basically it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we talk about income inequality, comparison. Like, when you go to social media, you see people posting about, a bigger house, nicer cars. These are all side effects of affluenza. Because they think that by doing this, I would be happier. But I'm not suggesting that they are wrong, because maybe we have grown up in a society that propagates such values. But once they reach a certain level, they realize that this kind of happiness does not last. They need to continue to do more in order to maintain that level of happiness.
But then, like what you said, but if you do more, then you reach a certain, like beyond the I think 105 USD per year, then you're like the happiness level actually drops.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously that's not the key to happiness, and as we've talked about, that has past a certain point of like where you're not worrying about money all the time. The increase to your happiness is quite negligible.
Yeah.
So I guess the main question then is, how do we? I mean, because I'm saying affluenza, like it's from influenza, not influencer. Like influenza, like the flu, right? So how do we fight affluenza? And then what are other things that we can do that actually that would help to increase our life satisfaction?
Well, it's a big topic. How could we go against it? I think we can't really go against it, but we can be aware of what is its impact on us, because it impacts on how the way we make decisions, how the way we make money. And I guess that part of things will help us realize that we don't need all these things to be happy. Yeah. But I know that it's a bit difficult sometimes, but we can look at life in a different way and start to focus on things that give us more meaning and fulfillment. If you buy a new watch, if you buy a new car, it gives you happiness up to 3 months. Then after that, it dies off.
So specific.
Yeah.
Up to 3 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that's true. Thinking about some of the new stuff that I've bought, it really lasts like 3 months.
Yeah. Well, correct me. I mean, not to say that I don't like new stuff. I'm a gadget person. I love new gadgets also.
Yes, that is true. Can vouch for that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I know that this sort of happiness strategy doesn't last 100%. It is only a certain part that it can make me happy. But if we really want to build lasting happiness and well-being, it's not found in this material stuff.
So how can we increase our life satisfaction and hence our happiness, if it's not by aiming to earn more?
One good way would be having meaning or engagement.
Having meaning. Okay, but what does that mean? Like, because I'm a very like, okay, give me some task to do. How can I do that? How can I make that into an action?
Let's say can I use you as an example?
Sure.
Okay, so right now I know that you have become a bounce instructor.
Yes.
Correct?
And that's like rebounding on a like personal trampoline.
Yes. So there's a difference, right? If you become a bounce instructor, you are doing it is because that you are sharing joy,
Yeah.
engagement, and motivating people to do it.
Yes.
And that is meaningful for you.
Yes.
Right? When you see other people happy, you are happy.
Yes.
And that's meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a simple exercise of
Okay.
meaning and engagement.
Okay. So I guess it's finding that sort of joy and meaning in the stuff that we are doing,
Yeah.
right? Could you give a few more examples? Just because not everyone wants to be a bounce instructor. I mean, obviously that gives me a lot of joy, but like some examples for some of our friends who are watching, like what they could maybe do, like small things that they could do to increase meaning, or maybe like you could share some stuff that you do that increase your meaning and engagement.
Well,
Yeah.
I could share a little bit about a meaning. It's about believing in something that is bigger than yourself. Doing something or dedicating your energy to something that is bigger than you, so the results doesn't come back to you, but it helps other people. It could be pro-social, pro-environment, it could be the pro-world, it could be anything, right? Yeah, so something bigger than yourself. Or it could be contributing to someone else's well-being, and that could be also meaningful.
So I guess like something like choosing to volunteer your time to help out with charitable organizations, whether it's to, I mean, everyone has their way of doing it. Some people raise funds, some people really literally go to old folks' homes and stuff like that. So you're saying just doing stuff for others will help give meaning.
Yeah.
And I would say actually like this is an example that I feel like sometimes people forget, like closer to home, there are people that in your life, you know, like friends and family members that could use the help. So I think from what you're saying is taking some time off to help these people, whether it's to spend time with them or maybe they need some fundraising or whatever, like stuff like that would help to increase your own life satisfaction.
Yeah. That would be one, or it could be like what Jade has mentioned. It could be not a charity organization. It could be someone that you know also, like having a meaningful conversation, checking in with your friend, or like helping, giving a small surprise to somebody that you like. It could be all very meaningful stuff.
Okay, I mean, I would say like a small thing that you can do today, which I've been meaning to do, is to just write like maybe a good friend a note, like a note of appreciation. We've talked a lot about gratitude.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that you can definitely do as well to increase your life satisfaction, which is to express gratitude. It could be like you said to yourself, it could be to your spouse or to your friend or someone who's done something nice for you, or it could just be to someone who's been in your life. It doesn't have to be like they did something big. But I mean, if you really stop and think, there are people in your life I'm sure you're grateful for, and maybe just taking the time to appreciate them would be a nice way to, and that will help to increase their, not just because we think like we do something nice for someone, that will increase their happiness. But actually like it's scientifically proven that it actually increases our happiness in doing that.
Yes, when we have closer relationships, when we reach out to another person, we are because we like to connect with people.
Yeah.
Our brain is wired to think about other people and care about other people all the time. It's one big round, right? So by doing so, as what Jade has mentioned, we are not doing it for ourselves, but in the end of the day, it will benefit us in the long run. So imagine that you are hanging out with your friends and your friends are happy around you. It comes back to you also, right? Yeah. And also at the workplace also.
Yeah.
So it's not just for friends in our social life, but also at workplaces, because we spend a lot of time working. And so we can do our part to create a good culture in using, helping people to be even better.
So I think we've talked about like the stuff that helps to increase one's life satisfaction, and obviously doing stuff for people and doing like random acts of kindness, which is something that we also talked about in the previous session, would definitely increase your life satisfaction. Now, how about for ourselves? Should we do anything for ourselves? And maybe we can end off, like centering on something that we can do for ourselves.
Okay, I have two of them.
Okay, good. Stefan always has a lot of things I have to like say, like, we gotta keep it short. But yes, okay, I think this one is worth talking about. Let's hear both.
Okay, so the first one is write a letter to your future self.
To your future self, okay.
Yeah, write a letter to your future self, let's say 5 years from now or 10 years from now, or it could be 1 year from now. Yeah, and write what would you like to share or to say to your future self. So it's more like commitment, how you want to treat yourself better. And so in 1 year from now, this is how you will look like.
Okay, let me try to understand that. So you're writing to yourself in 1 year's time how you hope that your future self will be, or advice to your future self for 1 year's time?
Writing to your future self what you would like to build towards to, what you want to develop towards to, and what you want to be.
Okay. Okay, that's actually a very interesting exercise. I've not tried doing that. So that, I guess in doing that, you will feel a sense of centeredness, or...
Good question. It's more like giving yourself a commitment, dedicating time and resources to yourself, that what you would like to do and build for your personal development. So the good thing is, if you write this letter, let's say it's 1 year, you put this letter aside, and then 1 year later, or you can pass it to your friend and ask your friend to send it to you 1 year later.
Oh, that's nice,
And then you open it out and you look at the commitment that you have made to yourself. And you can see that these are words of care, love, and compassion. And there are always messages like, that I think that you have worked too hard. I think you have been too hard for yourself. Maybe you should spend some time to rest or to take care of your own needs. So these are all often words of care and love.
It's almost like a love letter, but to yourself, because like this is something that you would write maybe to a love letter to a partner or someone that you like, right? But it's just that you write it to yourself this time.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's something that we all can try today. Okay, let's just end off with the last thing that we can do for ourselves, maybe a last activity that we can do.
Okay, so we have been talking about mindfulness, right? And many of us, or some of us, have started a mindfulness activity, and some of us have not.
Yeah.
But there's one activity that's related to having or exercising self-compassion. And I like to do this myself also.
Okay.
So when you're alone, or when I'm alone, for my example, sometimes when I meditate or when I do mindfulness practice, I'll put my hand on my chest.
Okay.
And it's nice to feel your own hands on your own chest. It's because there's this warmth, right? And this is where our heart is. So when I do this self-compassion activity, these are things I will say to myself, that I am good enough. I like me. I love myself, and I will be healthy every day. So these are the small little things that I say to myself. You can change to the words that you want it to be. So the good thing about this is, when you do this, you could slowly massage your chest or your heart area in a very slow clockwise direction, so that as if that you're massaging the surface of your heart.
Okay. So it's like you're physically and mentally giving your heart a hug, almost like that, right? Like almost like sayang your heart.
Yeah, sayang my heart.
And do you do this like in the morning, or it doesn't matter what time of the day you do it?
It doesn't matter.
And it's just a short 5-minute exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's something that we can all do. It may sound a bit kooky, but I think that it's worth a try. I'm going to try both of these. Because firstly, it doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just affirm yourself. I think it's nice. Actually, I would think I'll try in the morning. But maybe if you're not a morning person, you can do it just before you go to bed.
Yeah, do it with your eyes closed, so that you're really focused on the feelings and with the thoughts that you have. And this is a big part of self-compassion. And it's very important to practice self-compassion, because if you want to be compassionate towards other people, so it starts from ourselves first.
Okay, thank you so much, Stefan. That's very helpful, and that's something for you guys all to do and to try at home. Let us know what you think in the comment box down below, and remember to check previous episodes where we talked about being happily successful, and also watch out for future episodes where we'll talk about strengths, and the other episodes on habits and gratitude. Just go have a look at the whole playlist. That's it for us for today. Bye!
See you, take care, bye-bye.
Oh, I think the painting came off and Nova is very interested.
Okay, so
Okay,
I think
boy.
you put this back.
Yeah, because if not, I think he'll get overly excited.
Did he come out for a long while?
No, just only. That's so funny.